Hello, Jen here with a layout for the Wild Whisper design team. Today I am working in my traveler's notebook. You can see the things I'm going to use right there. And I'm going to play around with a little bit of mixed media. I haven't done too much of that in a couple of months. So I wanted to pull out some of my colors and just have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to use this piece here and I'm putting some gesso on it. Now, I've used mixed media on their papers before, directly onto the paper, and if you haven't bought their paper or had the opportunity to check it out for yourselves, it has this really nice sort of glossy coating on it. It's really lovely, and it actually takes mixed media really nicely, and it doesn't quite absorb into the paper the same way that a lot of like basil cardstock and stuff like that does. So it's kind of fun to play with. You have a little bit of playtime with it, and it kind of sits on top of the paper really nicely. But I still wanted to put some gesso on that particular piece because I love that pattern. I think it's gorgeous. But I think it was going to make everything too busy. And this is already going to be a pretty busy layout. So I just wanted to sort of tone down that pattern a little bit so that I could put the mixed media on top. So I'm just going to fill in the pieces of this bear while the gesso is drying, and I'm just using all of the scraps from my other projects, and I had that one card there that I really like the colors from that one, and I like the patterns in the wood grains, so I'm going to use some of that, and I'm just trying to get all of the different colors from that collection. Again, I love these colors so much. They're some of my favorites. I love the way they all really complement each other, so I just want to try and get a good representation of all of them. And now that that is dry, oh, and did I mention that that cut file is a Paige Evans cut file? I don't think I did. So I got that from the Silhouette store from Paige Evans. So now I'm just going to take out some of these mermaid markers, and there's quite a few of the colors, you know, in varying tones. So they're not the exact tones from the collection, but they're close enough. They're in the same family. So I'm just going to smush them all over. I don't really have a plan too much for how I want the colors to look. I just wanted to have the impression of color above the polar bear. I sort of was thinking like Northern Lights maybe, without this actually being exactly what Northern Lights would look like or the exact colors of the Northern Lights. So I've used a couple of the colors of mermaid markers. I used some shimmers. I think that one's called No Yokin. So I just splattered some of that yellow. I splattered some hot pink from Heidi Swap, and then this is just a blue from Recollections. So I'm just going to dab that up so it can dry a little bit quicker, and then let that dry. And there you can see my bear is all done, and now I'm going to pull out my oxides. So this is the first time that I've actually used my Tim Holtz Distress Oxide inks, and they're so much fun. You can see there it didn't stamp very well. That's because the book has other stuff in it, and so it's a little bit more bulky, and it wasn't lying flat. So I just used the lid to give myself a flat surface, and I'm okay with it not stamping perfectly because most of this is going to end up being covered up anyways. I just really wanted to get the colors, and they're gorgeous. Isn't that beautiful? I know everyone's already played with theirs and everyone has the whole collection, but these are the only colors I have, and they just happen to be the right colors for this collection. So I definitely wanted to pull them out. And I will be playing with them a lot more, I think. So I have, I think that's Worn Lipstick, Cracked Pistachio, Fossilized Amber, Broken china. Oh no, the blue is broken china. And oh, peacock feathers is what that deeper turquoise is. And then I use the outline of the bear for in the broken china. So it's not quite as dark as the navy that's in this collection, but it's close enough. And now I'm using it again, and I'm just taking those little triangles to make a border around the page. And I love that the Adventure Collection, which is what the stamp set is from, is this is a companion collection to that one. So the bear icons match the stamp set from their first one. So Adventure and More Adventure definitely work together really well. So I just cut that strip in half so that when I close my book, it's going to sit nicely in the book. And of course, I'm struggling with my adhesive. Big surprise. I don't know why glue hates me, but it does. It's at this point you can't see it, but it is all over my hands. It is not sticking properly. Yeah, it's just kind of a bit of a mess. And I'm trying to put lots of glue onto this bear because I know I'm going to have to cut it in half once I put it onto the book to make sure that, again, that it'll lie properly in the crease. I could have cut it before I put it down, but I end up just using my craft knife to cut it once it's all stuck down. I wasn't sure if I started cutting it if all the pieces were going to hold together properly, and so I just stuck it all down first. And there you can see I'm just going to give it a little slice, and then that way I know it can fold nicely. And I'm actually sort of just, you'll see me pulling out a few pieces there. I'm actually pulling just a little sliver out so that it'll fold nicely on itself. Then I'll glue those pieces down, make sure everything's stuck really well, and voila. So the last thing I have to do now is just figure out where I'm going to put my picture. So I know I want to use those two cards, the one with the bears and then the one of the bear that says, you keep me safe and I'll keep you wild. And I ended up fussy cutting that bear out. You can see it's just above where I'm working. And then I turned to my son who was right beside me, snapped a picture of him literally right in the moment, and printed it out with my zip Polaroid printer. So it was just quick and easy. I just wanted to be able to document him in January, beginning of the year. This is what he looks like, and then we can kind of do this every month maybe, just to have those progression shots. And I'm fussing with that card because I don't want to cover up too many of the bears. Yeah, that's proper English. I don't want to cover up too many of the bears, but depending on where I put that picture, it either cuts off all of their heads or well, yeah, no, if I were to center it, it cuts off all the heads of the bears. So I knew I had to offset it a little bit. And then I'm just going to use that piece of paper. That's the back side of the paper I used for the mixed media. I just flipped it to the back. And I liked that there was that big shot of blue up at the top and then all of the colors. It kind of gave a good matte for the picture. So I'm just going to glue it all down. I'm using a lot of extra tape because I want to make sure that it actually sticks nicely to the gesso. And then I'll put my picture down. Of course I got adhesive on the picture, so you'll see me brush that off a few times. And then the bear that I fussy cut, I just put there. I really struggled with where I wanted to put that bear. It kind of looks like he's staring at the other bear's bum, but I think it's okay. And then to finish it off, I went through my stash of alphas and I just found some that match all of the colors. I didn't want to use thickers because this is starting to get thick already, and I want to make sure that I have space for other layouts. So I found all of these different alphas that would work. They're a good match for all of the colors, and I wrote my sweet Basy bear. I end up changing Basy to this darker font, which also matches really nicely, but I just didn't like the white on white. And that's it. My layout is complete. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I just wanted to give a big shout out to all of my new subscribers. The scrapbooking community has really come together to support all of our YouTubers, and I really appreciate everyone who has jumped on to subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them for me down below, and be sure to check out Wild Whisper Designs. Until next time, happy scrapping! Bye!